we're going to record. She usually does the recording for me, but she's on vacation. So just so you know, you're on video, you're being recorded, and this recording will be placed on the county website on the Diversity Affairs page. So we've gotten that all out of the way. But your attendance will reflect the name that you have on your Zoom screen. So please make sure it's how you want to be noted. That's the best, most transparent way that we can figure out, and also safe way that folks can attend meetings without being on video if they don't want to. But please just make sure your name is the way you want it to be. And if you need assistance renaming yourself, I can certainly help you do that as well. And I'll just go through that right now. So it is I'm just letting people in, so I have to pause for a second. On the right side of your picture, there are 3 dots. If you hover your cursor over that, you'll be able to change your name to whatever you want to be recognized as in the minutes of the meeting. We just really feel it's important to balance transparency and safety, being that you're being recorded and placed on a website. So hopefully in the future, like I said, we'll be meeting in person. That's the goal as always. So does anybody have any questions about that before we jump into our agenda? Just gonna let Lateria get connected to audio. Okay, good. Thanks, everyone. Okay, so just a couple quick things before we dive into the meat of the agenda. Just not everyone here knows.
Amanda?
Yes.
I think Nathan's trying to talk, but we can't hear him.
Because he's muted. Hey, Nathan, you're muted.
He wasn't muted though when he was trying to talk.
Let's see it again. You're still muted on my screen, Nathan. But I can see you're unmuted, so I can see that it might be on your side. Okay. We'll let him work on it and we won't stare at him. How about we do that? So while Nathan's getting situated and looking at his tech challenge, I thought it would be great this time to just do a really 15-second introduction, just your name and what agency or who you're here representing, so that we can continue to get to know each other. I know that it does take a little bit of time from our meeting, but I also think that it's important for us to be able to start putting some names and faces and agencies together as we build our commission. So I'll just call on you, and I'm going to use the alphabetical participants list. So Beth, will you go first?
Certainly, I'm Beth Roberts with the Winnebago County Human Services Department.
Thanks. Steve.
Steve Binder, Winnebago County Supervisor. I represent District 13.
Thank you. Bryn.
Hi, sorry, this is Bryn Seaman with Winnebago County Human Services. Specifically, I work in the Aging and Disability Resource Center as one of the program supervisors.
Thank you. Deb.
Deb Martin. I'm part of the county. I'm not representing anybody, so hopefully it's okay.
Of course, absolutely. You're here as Deb. Thank you. Ethan.
Hi, Ethan. I am the transition director for the county executive.
Thank you. Heidi.
Unmute. Heidi Keating with Winnebago County Health Department.
Thank you. John.
John Damel, Winnebago County Executive.
Thank you. Lateria.
Lateria Garrett, resident of Winnebago County.
Thank you. Mary.
Hi, Mary Siebert. I'm the Child Care Director at the Nina Menasha YMCA.
Thank you. Mi Yang.
Yang from the Hmong Service Center.
Thank you. Nathan, did you get it fixed? No. Shoot. Well, we will keep waiting for you. All right, let's keep going. Nikki.
Nikki Uharty, Winnebago County Health Department.
Thank you. Sarah? Oh, Sarah Mulbauer. 2 Sarahs.
Sarah Mulbauer, CEO at Lakeland Care.
Thank you. Sarah, other Sarah.
Sarah Clark, and I work for World Relief with Catherine Noel-Aris, who is not here right now.
Thank you. Sophia.
Hi, I'm Sophia Voigt. I'm a reporter with the Oshkosh Herald.
Thank you. Supervisor Mike Norton.
Supervisor Mike Norton, District 20, Oshkosh.
Thank you. All right, just making sure we got everybody.
I don't know if Nate has the ability to call in, maybe.
You want to try that, Nathan? Okay, awesome. Okay, thank you for taking that time to introduce yourselves. Like I said, for those of you who came just at the beginning of the meeting, you are being recorded for transparency, so we'll be placing this video on the website. So moving right into the first item on the agenda as we watch, I'll watch the waiting room to make sure that Nathan gets in when he calls in. The wrapping up of the Waking Up White video viewing that we had. Beth, do you want to just give a brief overview of your perspective, and then I'll just go over a little bit of the evaluation data.
Certainly. It was about a 40-some minute video interview with the author of the book. And she was able to share some of her experiences that led her to sort of what she called woke up and realize that what she saw the world as wasn't really the way the world is. And so she wrote a book about her experiences, and then the man interviewed her on it. And then there's some questions that accompany the viewing of it. And so we asked a few questions of people to talk about their experiences if they were comfortable. And it was really, you could tell people were sharing things about their kind of starting to wake up, starting to realize that, maybe I do have some unconscious bias, or, maybe things aren't really what I thought they were. So it was kind of nice that people felt comfortable enough to speak up and share their own personal experiences about, again, how they view our communities. So that was, in essence, what happened.
Thank you. So I'm going to share my screen. Does anybody have any questions for Beth? All right, so I will share my screen and we'll just go over, we thought that it would be a good idea to do some post-event evaluation just to sort of see if we're reaching some of our goals. And we, often get questions of like, what's the purpose of this? And so we developed just a couple questions on a quick survey. So we had 30 people call in at different points of that Zoom. So a total of 30. We got 8 responses, which is a little bit lower. You really want 30%, but I'll send out one more reminder as well and then give you an update at our next commission meeting. So we had 8 responses. 75% of the people said that they learned something new about racial issues after watching or viewing the interview. A deeper understanding of bias, 62.5% of people reported that they had a deeper understanding of their bias. This is the one that I found really, really interesting as we think about our work and think about the strategic plan and the goals, is that 100% of the individuals who responded to the survey said that they had planned to seek out future opportunities about diversity, equity, and inclusion. So that was, I think, really hopeful, because that's really one of the goals, is we want people to seek out other opportunities. Also recognizing, right, that we are, when you show these sort of videos, you're oftentimes, the audience is people who have an interest already. But what we know is with community change, if we can change a certain percentage, we get to a tipping point of individuals who then can also advocate for the same sort of mission that we're working on building in Winnebago County. So a couple feedback things, full transparency, you can look and see that there is some feedback that resonates deeply when we work in inclusion and equity work. Lots of times people say the people we're talking to are white people who are processing their privilege. And that's a pretty common thing that we do need to recognize and own as we host events such as this. So I'll give you a minute just to read that, and then we can talk a little bit about the evaluation results. Does anybody need more time to read it, or would you like me to read it out loud? All right. So let's talk a little bit about what your thoughts are, seeing some of the evaluation results, and that'll segue us into the next topic we're going to talk about is future educational events. So any feedback on the evaluation or events?
I think it seems to mirror what I just said in opening, you know, that it was people wanted to talk about it, and they seemed to feel like, as the first question indicated, that there was some learning about themselves.
Well, I was on the call. I didn't participate because I was at work watching it, but if I recall, Beth, that discussion probably could went on for a good half hour to hour. I think there was a lot of discussion. I think we had to, I think he had to control, or not cut off, but control them, or it would have gone on for a lot longer. It really opened up a lot of different experiences that people had. And I think if we got more people or the same people, we probably would have more of that.
Yeah, the last time we did something like this, we did allow chats as well. So we were able to get more information because some people chatted their comments and stuff. And this one was all verbal. So we did have to kind of squeeze it in.
Yeah, it is tricky. It is tricky with the chat feature not being available for sure. Other thoughts?
I think, Lataria, I think it was exciting for me just to see that 100% of people are or have a desire to see more things like this. So I think that gives me hope that our group will be able to provide more of those opportunities for people to really participate and learn. So I was happy to see that.
Yeah, I was surprised by that question, right? It's a risky question to ask in evaluation, but I believe in evaluating to the truth, right? And so we thought, well, let's see where we are with this. So absolutely, thank you for the feedback. Any other? So segueing that, one of the goals that we had from the beginning of our time together, you know, starting in December and January, was really to offer these spaces and topics of interest and speakers of interest. And so what I'm putting out to you next is, do you have suggestions for future events or future speakers or future organizations that we should hold space for? Now, this won't be in the regular meeting time, of course. We would do it in the same way that we scheduled with Beth as the facilitator of the Waking Up White video interview video, sorry. So any ideas of people that I could reach out to, or organizations or topics that you want to see a community discussion built around?
Me, at one point when Joseph and Erica did a presentation, which was really well attended, you had talked about possibly joining them, but it just was not good timing for you. Would you feel comfortable with you or somebody through the Hmong Service Center maybe putting something together?
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea. Yeah, unfortunately, I was not able to join that session that we had planned because I think we had to move around for a little bit. It was at the start of the COVID. And yeah, I think that would be a great idea. I would certainly love to maybe collaborate or work with, you know, maybe one or two other individuals who might be interested, you know.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people who don't even understand the history of your country and why people are here and all that. So that would be fantastic if you do that.
Yeah, I think so. Let me try to get a hold of maybe one or two other people, maybe in the community or maybe in the Fox cities, who kind of have the same direction or vision as we do, and see if we can put something together. Maybe a dialogue would be a good thing, you know, just kind of coming in and talk about things and maybe take questions and similar to what we have.
Yeah, I was just going to say the last one we presented as a dialogue so people could talk and ask questions. So that would be really nice if we could do it again, because
Right.
I have like 4 pages of chat comments from that one, and many of them said, please do something like this again.
Sure, sure. Yeah, let me work on that and then I will keep you guys updated on that. I think that's a great idea.
Wonderful. Me, I'll reach out to you to get a schedule together and help facilitate like the scheduling of that. And then I would love to hear your perspective on what you believe our community needs to hear from you and the people you work with. I think that would be the question I would love answered in your presentation, that, you know, we can learn from you and learn how we can be a more inclusive and compassionate community.
Sure.
That I would love to see that. I would love to see, you know, tell us what we need to know kind of conversation.
I think so. Yes. Yes, I think so. Thank you. Well, we'll communicate.
Wonderful. Thank you. Nathan, I see you're unmuted.
Does this work? Okay.
I feel like we need to like give a round of applause. Do you want to introduce yourself briefly?
I'm gonna throw myself a little pizza party here.
Yeah, you might.
Have you, by the way, I'm Nathan from Menasha Joint School District.
Thanks.
So do the intro. Have you connected at all with African Heritage Inc.? I think they're based out of Appleton, but they do a lot of work around education, but they also do a lot around cultural understanding. So if you were looking at another event or host of an event, there may be a group that would be involved or be interested in being involved.
Nathan, can you please talk a little bit louder or maybe closer to your screen? We're really glad to be able to hear you, but it's a little bit soft. Thank you.
So African Heritage Inc. has done a lot of like youth groups and professional development around specifically youth. That's how I sort of have interacted with them, but they may be interested in doing some diversity and inclusion discussion or dialogue with adults in our area as well. So Mandy, would you like me to send you their link?
Yep, that'd be fantastic. Oh, Lataria.
I was actually going to mention them. I'm currently working with them and have worked with them over the last couple of years. So I definitely think that would be a great partnership, and whatever you need, I have contacts with them. So
Lataria, I'll reach out to you and then we'll work together to coordinate that. I just wrote a note. Supervisor Norton, I see your hand up.
A couple of things. First of all, could we reach out, like Oshkosh Corporation have a diversity coordinator. Maybe we could invite that person and any other business that have a diversity coordinator in Fox Valley, and we can find what they do and how they can work with us in the future. That's one ideal. A couple of years ago, they sponsored a virtual diversity van or something. I couldn't go to it, but that's one thing. Second, kind of related to what Nathan talked about, a couple of years ago, the health department, and Nikki can help me out, did a presentation of not kind of race in the schools. That may be a proper wording, and Nikki could correct me. What they did is they interviewed a bunch of students from the Oshkosh, the North, and Menasha High School, and interviewed them that were of color and their experiences. It was interesting to come back some of the responses they got. That's a second thing. There's a third thing I can't remember, but those are two of them. Thank you.
What's the third thing about the mosque? Maybe because, there was that presentation that 2 men from the mosque did one night, and wow, that was so incredibly informative. I learned so much that night, and it wasn't very well attended. It was, I don't remember what, some evening, and it wasn't very well advertised either, but I wonder if those two or someone else from the mosque might want to share some of their experience. Again, incredibly informative, and they are also open to asking questions.
That's a good one, Beth. I did remember the last thing is last August, me and Beth participated in this. Yeah, there's an organization called Imagine Fox Valley, which is a group which I believe it's in Appleton, and they are centered around, I believe, diversity and racial type issues. And they had a whole day-long thing that me and Beth, many different presentations, and they had something last Thursday. I couldn't log on to it, but it's called Imagine Fox Valley, and maybe that's one group that they get a group from members of various different organizations.
Yeah, it's Imagine Fox Cities, just in case you want to Google it, just to make sure you find the right thing. But yep, you're talking about the right group. I'm affiliated with that group as well, and they do a lot of they're actually really launching a series right now on belonging, which is really powerful. So I think it would be a great thing for our commission to make sure that we do our own learning as well and engaging. Any other suggestions?
Yes, I would just suggest that when we do set it up, that we have enough lead time so we can promote it. You know, if we got 6-8 weeks, we can actually do a good job and get a good turnout so that it's worthwhile. You know, if we don't have enough lead time, people make advanced plans and it may not work into their schedule. But if we got 6 to 8 weeks to plan that, and if we get enough people, I'm sure we could use the Expo Center. It's usually available to anybody in the county, providing there isn't a paying event there. So, and during the week, there usually never is. So it would be a great place to have it. And just so that we have enough time to get the word out there so we can get a really good turnout and make it worthwhile for the presenters.
Yeah, one of the first things that the steering committee is going to be tasked with is determining in-person versus virtual. There are going to be pros and cons for all of that, those decisions. Yeah, thanks.
And maybe like our county board, we're going to meet like a hybrid again this month. And maybe it might be something like we'll have to do, not for this upcoming meeting, but like when we do the bigger presentation with the presenters, it's nice if we have basically the option to be there in person. And some people don't have means of transportation, so they wouldn't be able to get to the Expo Center if they wanted to. So it would be nice to be able to have it basically both ways. So if you'd like to come out there, and I always, afterwards and beforehand, you get time to talk to the presenters, you get time to talk to the other people. Where on a Zoom meeting, like today, we had a little bit of time. Sometimes the meetings don't open up till right at 3 o'clock. You don't really get any of the correspondence before or after. You just kind of get the meeting and you're done, you know? So
yeah,
if we,
there's a lot lost.
yeah, if we had like a hybrid version of that, I think we could maybe get both ways.
Yeah, Steve, maybe you and I can work on the technology infrastructure that would be needed for a hybrid meeting at the Expo Center. We can talk.
And I think Shiloh's actually going to work on it for this month for the county board.
Okay.
So I think they'll have that all resolved for us, and all we'll have to do is use their equipment, and IT is working on it, because that's how our county board meeting is going to be this month.
Okay.
We're going to be at the Expo Center as a hybrid meeting. The ones that want to attend can attend, and the ones that don't. So hopefully it'll all be set up for us, and all we'll have to do is use what technology they can provide us.
We'll let you all go first, and then you.
Okay.
Sarah Clark, I see your hand up.
Yes, this is somebody that I'm not familiar with, so I'm curious if any of you are, but there was a recent Post Crescent article about Bess McGee, and she is the founder of Bess Knows Best. So apparently it's an LLC, and it helps companies with diversity coaching. And something that I read recently is that it's important to stop using, which is why like African Heritage Inc. is another great resource, but to stop using people of color to be the ones to try to explain everything to people. That this woman, for example, she gets paid to do what she does because she loves to do it, rather than somebody off the street that doesn't necessarily want to be a spokesperson, but wants to participate in the conversation. Might be great.
Yeah, thank you for that. I'll look into her as well. All right, any other suggestions? I will, I'll reach out to the people that are connected, and then we will see what we can get scheduled for that. I totally agree, Steve. The 6 to 8 weeks seems to make a lot of sense for us to think about that, for sure. All right, so a quick update on the steering committee. There are 3 names that we have been provided to Executive Damo to consider for appointment to the steering committee. We will wait to see what happens from that. I don't want to put you on the spot, like that's awkward, So
I don't see any issues there. Yep.
all right.
Yep.
Do you want to talk a little bit about it then?
No, I think it's pretty straightforward. The other one that because we wanted to stagger some people on there, and the only other name that I threw out there was Harry Van Buren, that does chair. That'll be on the next run. So it's a staggered board.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully we will be ready then to get that steering committee, steering committee together to start formalizing some of the structure and bylaws and moving that work forward. So excited to see that movement. Thank you so much. Ethan and Executive Damo and Heidi and Beth and I had a great conversation. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. The time just flies by. Really talking about, the functions and the structures and the goals. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Heidi. Heidi, you have screen sharing capabilities. You're all set to go to talk about the strategic plan. And then the last thing I have for everyone is our next meeting falls on July 1st. And I have a feeling there aren't going to be many people that are going to come. So think about that, and that'll be our last action, is to decide to keep that meeting or to hold off and meet at the beginning of August as a larger group. So, all right, Heidi, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, can you see the screen? With provide actionable opportunities for members of the community.
Yes, you're right.
Okay.
On. Yep.
Thank you. Also, before I get started with this, it's just a little tricky, I think, for me to make sure everybody that wants to participate and contribute. So just asking for some assistance to make sure that everybody's able to contribute and help manage the group. If I could get some assistance on that, I would really appreciate it.
Heidi, I can help you. I'm not sure. You just wanted me to watch for raised hands?
Yeah,
that.
Thanks. And if, yeah, thank you. Okay, so just a quick summary. The last time we met, which was May 6th, we did talk about, we got started on the mission statement, and we have a draft. It's in bold: provide actionable opportunities for members of the community with an emphasis on equitable learning and growth. And we can, you get to this point where you just sort of wordsmith, and so we came to a good stopping point. Like this will be where we're at as far as the draft, and we'll revisit it next time. And so in the meeting minutes, or what Mandy sent out for the announcements, the agenda, there was a request to look at this document that I put together as a way to prep for this discussion. So there's not really homework, but if people had a chance to review, it would just be helpful. So what we're going to do is look for patterns. We're going to, what I did was organize our discussion, the notes that I took, as well as what was in the diversity affairs statement, the commission, not the bylaws, but the
Resolution.
Thank you, the resolution. And so just kind of organize those in these components that make up a mission statement. So they're going to be organized by people, places, organization, and that's what our cause is. Then the next column is making a difference. That's our action. What it is that the Diversity Affairs Commission does. And then the last column here is results, or the impact that the Diversity Affairs Commission is looking to make. So, so I tried to organize this in these 3 different columns. And then I'm just gonna scroll back up here as to what we're gonna do is look for patterns or themes in those columns. And then those become our themes, the different similarities or terms that that seem to resonate. And then, you know, well, it's like really one of two things. One is like, hey, does our draft statement, does it meet, you know, kind of the criteria that we're looking for? Does it represent us? Does it name us? If somebody read it, would they understand that it's coming from the Diversity Affairs Commission of Winnebago County? Does it, you know, tell people what it is that we do and what we're trying to accomplish? So if we want to make any changes, we can look back at our conversation and perhaps make some edits or decide that, hey, what we did last time, we like that and we want to move forward. If we want to, you know, make some edits, then we write a statement basically from the themes that emerge from the 3 columns. And so that's kind of just a way to make sure that we have our components and that we're everyone's like, you know, thumbs up, like this is a mission statement that feels like represents what we're trying to do and make an impact. Does that sound good? Okay, so these are this is really what we talked about last time, organized by people, places, organization, making a difference, our actions, and the results or the impact. So I don't know if anybody had a chance to review beforehand, but are there any themes that in each column that seem to jump out at folks?
Education seems to be a trend in the second column. A lot about equity in that column too.
In the second column?
Yes.
And the third.
Why don't we start with this first column here, the people, places, organizations. So who we are, where we are, that kind of thing.
Mary,
Yeah.
not to put you on the spot, but you sent me an email because you had to leave a little bit early, and I'm wondering if you wanted to talk about that email right now because you have a statement.
Because I have an opinion. I know. I was
No,
like, oh, maybe I'll
you
be
have
gone
an
by then.
opinion, but you have a really powerful statement you shared in that email. So,
Okay.
Do you mind sharing that?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
So I went through, I really liked the chart because I'm like a very linear focused kind of person too. So for the first column, I had like, you know, the county and the people in the county. And then education was the one I pulled from the middle. And then I pulled out diversity, belonging, equitable from the third. But then I went back and I read what we worked on, and not to diminish the time we spent, because I know it was a lot of time and I know I put a lot of feedback into it also. But I did read it to a couple people here at the Y, and just as like a, hey, you know, would you know what this group was trying to get at by this? And they really didn't. So it was, what I had said to Mandy was just that it's very, what we have it worded right now is very educational wording. And that's great for us. And I think it kind of links to that comment that somebody made on the Waking Up White thing too, is, you know, are we doing the mission to make it as like flowery and educational and academic sounding? I guess academic is like the word I had used in my other thing. Or are we putting a mission out there so anybody in the community that reads it can go, oh, this is a group for me? My fear was that if we had a statement that they didn't understand, or, you know, thinking of different languages, thinking of, you know, all the different people that we want to reach with the mission, will they know that it's a group for them also? Like, is it inclusive language? So that was just something I had put out there, and I didn't know, because I do have to leave the meeting a bit early for my kid's soccer game, but I did want to just have that out there as something to think about. So was that sort of what you were thinking? All right, and now I'll let everybody discuss that.
Thanks for your summary of your email.
Yeah, Mandy, I recall from the last meeting, you were the mom test or the grandma test or something that you just, you know, and it's just basically asking people, Mary, like you did, do you understand what we're trying to do? Is it straightforward, easy to understand? And, you know, that you did that and got some feedback. Maybe it needs to be edited. How are people feeling about editing the draft from last time? Like,
When I think about the, you know, looking at sort of trainings on what equitable is and people needing to learn and understand the word equitable, it's, excuse me, probably not a good word to use in the mission statement as far as the general population understanding.
There was one thrown out to me as an edit that I think would be a good place to start. So this, the one we drafted got to, it was a good conversation. Peer review is important, right? Because we defined where we were. And our statement did not pass the mom test, right? In a couple of organizations, people are like, I don't know what that means. And we want to make sure that our mission statement is pretty specific. So one that was sent to me is, here's an example: provide educational opportunities to Winnebago County residents to encourage belonging, equitability, and to see diversity as an asset. And I read that and I thought, oh my gosh, all it's missing is the who's doing that. But it felt like it captured the theme. It might be a good starting place to consider as we look at these other themes in the boxes.
And maybe with that one, I see fairness is in the last column. I see it a couple of times, but maybe fairness would be an easier term for people to, I don't know, maybe it's not the good term. But I just question equitable or equity, I mean, as a term that everyone's going to relate to.
I think it's hard to pinpoint one thing because we want to do so many things. So it's like we're trying to fix the world, and we got our mission statement written up, but there's so many things we want to do, you know. So it's hard to figure out, if I was reading this, what is this committee really going to work on first? I mean, we've got numerous things here that we want to accomplish, but we're not going to be able to accomplish them all in a short time. You know, we don't have any really defined statement of what we're really going to do coming out of the box. You know, we have a lot of statements that we want to do as far as education, making people aware. But if I was to ask, someone was to ask me, what is our first goal as a committee? I couldn't give them a real answer because I don't know. You know, and that should be part of our mission statement. I would think, you know, we all should be on the same page what our main goal is for the committee.
Just had a thought on I don't remember who was speaking about maybe the ambiguity of the term equity and how maybe that term may not be accessible for folks. They may not understand what that word means or how it applies to this group. And one of the things that I've sort of gravitated towards on a lot of these discussions I've been in has been defining terms when you meet with people to talk about this. And so I'm wondering if we're talking about being equitable across all groups and all people who live in Winnebago County, even if someone doesn't understand the significance of the term equity or equitable, by engaging in this work, that's sort of our opportunity to educate them on what that means and how that impacts individuals and families in our county. Am I making sense in response to that? Like if that's the most appropriate word to reflect what our work is, it seems to me that it should be in the mission statement, and it would be up to us to make sure that we define for folks what that term means and how it applies to our work. Just a thought. I don't know if that makes any sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
I think it makes sense, and I feel the same way.
I agree. And talking to what Steve, maybe our first mission of this commission would be to informing and educating the public of the diversity of this county and of its populations. And then somewhere I would put wording in about making things equitable within the county. So, I just what you said, Steve, and I think that's what we're doing. We did it first with that movie, Growing Up White. We're thinking about, or Amanda and us, we're gonna think about having different groups from the mosque, whatever. And I think one of the basic things we should do right away is to get educated and get informed of the various diverse groups and how are they in this county and how do they feel they're not being treated, maybe that's the wrong word, but get their true feeling so that we have a better understanding, and then we can look at things and maybe make recommendations to do certain actions. So I would say first to inform and educate how diverse this county is, and both ways, and then we act through making things more equitable. So
Yeah, I think, I'm agreeing with everyone. What's been said is that, we're looking at, the who, which we're we're talking about the people here in Winnebago County. We're talking about what the action is, like what is the verb and what is it that we're doing? And that's, it seems to me like there's this theme around, providing education, information, learning opportunities in order to achieve, the impact of a more equitable, or if we want to expand on equitable, valuing the, diversity, building inclusion, belonging, some of those kind of words. But, it's like trying to get something from each of those columns, for this group in action to achieve an impact.
I mean, if I could, I just want to throw something out there. One thing that I'm looking for is experience. Not so much education, but experience. How do I meet these people? How do you get these groups together to get to know each other? I think that's really an important part of it, to have the communities be able to integrate and get involved and to be that icebreaker for them. So that we're not afraid of what we don't know or afraid of what looks different from us. How do we host the event to get people to break that ice and get over their fears and get to know some of these people?
It's funny because that word isn't in, for example, the second column, but really that is what it's all about, is experiencing, whether it's having a dialogue or, spending time with people. I mean, it is about experience.
Yeah, I like that.
The word convening, I think, is important, right? It's convening the groups of people, and because that would be the purpose.
What about the term engagement? When you think about education, when you think about sitting down for discussion, when you think about tuning into a webinar, those are all examples of some form of engagement, whether it's by community members, by board members, building engagement in the discussion around diversity and equity in Winnebago County. Might summarize kind of a list of the different terms and actions that are being out there.
I would.
You know, I
agree.
like that.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I mean, Nate, I like that because I guess that when you engage someone, you know, you are informing and you're educating in the both sides, and engaging is a better way of saying that than that way. So I like engaging better than, yeah.
Could we provide experiences for engagement? Or is that too, are we getting back to being too, you know, wordsmithy?
You know, personally, for me, when you engage, it almost seems like a one-way word. An experience seems like a community coming together. That's really what I think would work. You know, coming together to get to know each other. Not so much telling people that you're wrong, but showing people what's right. You know, that's really worked for me. For a big part of me growing up and my growth as a person, just getting out there and getting to know the people, and know what they want and know what they come from and know what they believe in, and you know, the story of Daryl Davis, and the strength that he's done, with some clan members actually surrendering their robes to him through engagement. His story is very powerful, and I think if we focus on that, to accept the diversity, to get people together, to not be afraid of it, the solutions will present themselves.
So I have a little bit of a sentence that I think kind of pulls in some of those thoughts. Is a community that is committed to accepting and celebrating our differences in Winnebago County.
Can you read that one more time?
Yeah, a community that is committed to accepting and celebrating our differences in Winnebago County. And I don't know if we need to put like the commission in there or what have you, but.
I see Sarah raised her hand.
Another one would be embracing diversity in Winnebago County.
The only thing about those is that I think embracing diversity is very important, but it doesn't necessarily get at trying to create more of that inclusivity or that equitability, you know, so you can acknowledge and embrace diversity, but it doesn't move you to that next step of, so we acknowledge the diversity and we embrace it, but are we, I'm going back to John's word of experiencing, but you know, kind of that further step of engagement.
You know, if you just look at like the Hmong Festival, I go to that every year when they have it, and it's a great organization, but yet I see very few people there of the white descent, you know, and it's an experience second to none to see their culture and to experience their way of life. You know, why can't we promote something like that where we make it available so that more people would want to go out there and experience? I mean, it's just a great festival, and yet there's very few people other than the Hmong community that experience it. And why is that? They're not educated, I guess, to realize that it's a great fun day. There's all different kinds of food to basically try. They have different dancing ritual, you know, I mean, I had a great experience, and they explained to me about, you know, how the Hmong's took out the American pilots that got shot down and how many of them died rescuing our soldiers. It gave me a whole different perspective, you know, and it's just through education, you know. How do we do that? I don't know, but we have beautiful facilities, that we have beautiful festivals, and yet we can't get the community to partake in them, you know, and I don't understand why.
Steve, I think that's important. And I think it does lend itself to some of what John had said as well, is, you know, familiarity reduces fear, right? And so we can, as a commission, really consider promoting of those Winnebago County events, and also serve as someone to meet up with, right? You know, people don't like to attend things unless someone that they know has been there. So there's sort of that opportunity. Sarah Clark, I see your hand is up.
I am sorry, I did not put my hand down.
Oh, okay. Well, I will put your hand down for you.
Okay, so let me throw another one out there. To create experiences for all residents and employees in Winnebago County, to engage in celebrating our diversity and create a more equitable and inclusive community.
Like that.
Can you say it one more time?
I think I have some of my tenses wrong, but I was trying to incorporate everything people were saying. To create experiences for all residents and employees in Winnebago County, to engage in celebrating our diversity and creating a more equitable and inclusive community. And maybe create isn't, because there are, as you guys just said, there are opportunities such as the Hmong Fest and Latino Fest and stuff. There are opportunities already, but maybe it's not creating, maybe it's enhancing, or it's promoting. Promoting might be a better word than creating at the beginning.
I think it could be create, because we'll create our own educational opportunities. We don't want to hobble ourselves. So create and promote, or create and support might be a good.
I like create and support. And promote.
Or it could be also, drive engagement, because I think that's a huge piece of what's missing. To Steve's point, when certain people don't show up, right? How do we get them to show up? What do we need to do? And I think we also need to look at additional events and working with different groups to bring things to this community that happen in other communities quite consistently, but they don't happen in Winnebago County. Also, I'm not aware of how to raise my hand, so excuse me for just kind of jumping in. I was looking for it and I haven't been able to find it. Thank you.
I see Deb's hand is up.
Hi, I have been to the Hmong community, the Labor Day before, representing the League of Women Voters, and it really is awesome. I also have been to some things at North High School through their communities department. So I think one of our first steps should be to look around the community and see what is being done, and figure out ways to do more encouraging. It might even be personal invitations of our friends or that kind of thing. Also, in the past, before COVID, there was a Thanksgiving event that would happen the Monday before Thanksgiving for quite a few years, which brought together many faith communities in the city at the Grand. It was awesome. I was there several years, and another bringing diverse people together for just there was dancing, there was singing, there was poetry read, so my thought is there are some things, and how can we share them out as well as bring in some more things. Thank you.
I wanted to answer the raise your hand question really quick. If you're on a regular Windows, you can hit Alt Y, or if you go on the like the ALT.
I found
button.
it.
Okay, all right.
Thank
I
you
didn't
so
wanna,
much.
You know what? And we are using both methods, so feel free to use either one that you're most comfortable with. All right, Heidi, do you think that you have enough to go on for this meeting to move this forward?
Yeah, I can put together kind of what we've talked about. I'm trying to think who had to leave early.
Mary Siebert.
Mary. I don't think I got her.
I have it. I'll send it to you, Heidi.
Okay, so I'll put those together, and maybe we can, do some of this through email or something, because it's tricky. I think, we can't, it's hard to see, sometimes it's like, if you had sticky notes, you can move things around, but we'll figure out a way to continue and have like our 3 or 4 statements that resonate with everyone.
Absolutely. Oh, Latiria, I see your hand up.
Did I take it down? Is it gone now?
It's
My
gone
hand
now.
raised?
It's
Awesome.
gone now.
Okay.
Oh, were you just playing with it?
Nope, I was just figuring it out. But what I was gonna say was, I agree. It's a little hard right now, just hearing all of the statements, and you hear something really great, and so I think that would be a great idea to kind of see something in writing and just visually be able to see it. And then also I would just add one thing around action. I feel like some of the other committees that I've been a part of or have knowledge of, there is a lot of conversation, there's a lot of planning. And so I'd really, really, really like our commission to have an action, right? So something around the action in the mission statement, because I think if we don't, we may not hold ourselves accountable to that. And I think that's a really, really important piece of the work that we are planning to do. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, no one wants meetings for sure. Okay, so Heidi will work and we'll get them out hopefully in the near future. We'll have a steering committee that will also review them. They'll make the final decision. That's the structure of this commission, is we gather input and have a respectful, inclusive process. And then the steering committee, who is appointed, will make final decisions on things such as this. So any lingering thoughts for Heidi or about the bylaws?
I just wanted to apologize real quick. I have to leave. I have a 4 o'clock meeting. So
Thank you.
thank you everybody for the discussion. Yep.
Thank you. We had anticipated wrapping up a little bit early because we know that sometimes wordsmithing, you just start to kind of talk in circles. The last thing on the agenda is a opportunity to resource share. So I hope, received an email from me last week promoting the various Juneteenth events that are going on in the area and really across the state. So, one of the things that we really believe as a commission is that we educate ourselves, and hopefully you can participate in those events, choose one to go to and learn a little bit more. So you should have gotten that. And then this is a great opportunity for us to collect any speakers, books, resources that you've read that you'd like to recommend, because we'll house those in our minutes so that people can also continue. Particularly, if you think 100% of people said they wanted to learn more, let's give them some opportunities to continue their own learning and growth. So anything that you would recommend, you've encountered, you've seen, you've experienced. Supervisor Norton, I see your hand.
Yes, Amanda, I think I emailed you, Beth, and others. A good organization that has a website, has a Facebook page, has a Twitter account is Race Forward. They are always promoting different webinars to do with diversity on the various issues, whether it's about racial issues, or they had one today to deal with gay pride issues and that. So like I say, they're on Facebook. They have, I think it's raceforward.com, and they're on Twitter.
Thank you. Anything else? I'll make sure that we get these out in minutes and in an email as well.
Yeah, I attended a training this morning on aging, equity and aging, and the Gemini group produced, it's called Definitions of Equity Terms. And I thought it was really good because we use a lot of terms, and for people, you know, it's, I don't know, it's hard to understand for some people, but I thought that those definitions that the Gemini group created, and I did send them to you, Mandy, too, were helpful.
Thanks. Lateria, I saw your hand up.
Yep, I was just making sure you were saying for the resources that we may have, just send that to you via email.
Yes, yep, absolutely. And then I'll, until the steering committee takes over a secretary position, our office is filling in that gap, but won't be doing that forever, but we will commit to doing that until there's a secretary on the steering committee.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, anything else for the, July 1st. Oh, Heidi, could you stop sharing your screen? Thanks. So July 1st, I'm gonna just call this a vote. So we will need to get the steering committee together between now and August. I can't guarantee what happened before July 1st. It probably will not. It actually will not, I can tell you it won't. But we can still meet. There will need to be a meeting facilitator because I am off that day on furlough. So I am not legally able to work that day at all. So thoughts on the July 1st meeting? Let's do this. If you are feeling like July 1st should be a meeting day, please raise your hand. Everybody's going on vacation. All right, so we will cancel, and we're well within our bylaws. We built it.
Wait a minute, though. I wasn't thinking cancel. I don't think we should meet that day, but I would like to
Right, I mean,
reschedule rather than wait.
I mean, let me ask Heidi a question. Do you think we need another meeting? And could we meet the 8th, the 15th, whatever? I mean, I'm open. I understand, Amanda, you can't make it. And I know you're on, it's a date that you can make it. You forward the date and we see if we can make it. So kind of, I'm willing to compromise about July 1st. Yeah, it's bad. It's 4th of July weekend. I can, maybe a lot of us will have our minds elsewhere, but we could meet another day
Yep.
or Thursday.
My first question was, should we cancel July 1st? My second question was, do we want to still meet in July? So you just gotta let me get to the second question before.
Okay.
But we have to cancel a meeting before we can schedule them. Yep. So July 1st, we'll take that off the calendar. Would you like to still meet in July? And then how shall we schedule that meeting for the good of the group?
My vote would be July 15th.
Do you want the same time, Beth?
Yes.
Is that good for you, Amanda?
I'm looking, my calendar's up here. I didn't roll my eyes at you. My calendar is right above. I can meet on July 15th. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, Heidi, is that okay with you?
Yeah, I can meet then.
Okay, so we'll reschedule and we'll make sure the announcement goes out in an appropriate fashion that July 15th from 3 to 4:30, this commission will move the meeting just in honor of the 4th of July holiday and probably a lack of attendance. So I will get that done. I will do that. So we should be set to go then. Does that feel good?
Yep.
All
Fine by
right.
me.
Wonderful. Okay, any other questions or concerns? Oh, Lateria.
Yeah. So I know it may not be something that, you know, is going to be decided in the very, very near future. But I do want to ask the question around the timing of these meetings. Are they always going to be from 3 to 4:30? Just because I feel like if there's an opportunity, and I'm just speaking for me, so I want to make sure what works. If this is working for everyone, then I'll continue to do my best to make as many meetings as I can. However, I want to just put that out there as if that's something that we could look at, even if it were like a hybrid situation where one month it's the 3 to 4:30 and the next month it's at 6. So just want to put that out there and ask the question. I'm sure if this is working, no beef if it's working for everybody, but I do want to put that out there. Thank you.
How about this? Since we didn't put it on the agenda, would you like that on a future agenda to discuss the time of the meeting?
Sure.
Okay, I can add that to the July agenda to talk about, hopefully then we'll be able to also have a conversation about in-person, hybrid, and it's a good time to have that conversation. So what we can do is gather the group feedback and then take that to the steering committee to make a final determination about mode and method and place and time of the commission meetings for the future. Does that seem like a fair way to manage that?
Yeah, that seems extremely fair. And like I said, just for all of the members, I know I'm coming in, right? And so I'm not looking to change anything. I just wanted to be vocal and put that out there if there's an opportunity, but I am completely fine with it remaining the same if it works for the majority of the members. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'll add that to the July agenda, which you guys will get to add to as well. All right, anything else? All right, I'll be in touch with the folks who agreed to maybe present or had some contacts. And then we will send out the meeting change, canceling the 1st. So when I cancel it on your calendar, I will reschedule it for the 15th. So just know that it'll be a calendar invite removed and then added. And then also those notices will go to the clerk's office as well. All right, thank you everyone. Have a safe June, and we will see you in a few weeks. Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.